Hello everyone, we are back with the CNA daily newspaper analysis. So today we'll start with the respective contents that is mentioned in the content list. Okay, we have to discuss about the recently conducted SSLV, the SC Collegium system, about climate change, about the Idukki Reservoir, about rock agama, a species, a lizard species, and obviously in the last we will directly go with the respective editorial that is going with some form of technology to check some of the minerals plunders. Okay, so let's start with it. So the first one being the satellite launched by SSLV, we can see that ISRO in a sudden uh, program, they directly went on for a maiden small satellite SSLV D1, which is no longer usable as it was placed in an electrical orbit instead of a circular one. So at this elliptical orbit, what we can see, the elliptical orbit is something like, supposedly, if this is the Earth, okay, this is particularly a circular orbit. Okay, this is a circular orbit. And when I directly go, suppose this is the Earth, and if this is the position of the satellite, we directly referred it as a elliptical orbit. Okay, ELLIPIPTICL, elliptical orbit. So the ISRO is all set to directly make use of this elliptical orbit for various of its respective projects in the upcoming times. So ISRO in this particular time period went on for this respective design, that is SSLV, which was very much designed for smaller, cheaper, and quickly assembled for some of the commercial launches that is currently in high demand. We know that this SSLV can place a 500 kg payload at a height of around 500 km in the low Earth orbit. Okay, but when I talk about the PSLV, okay, that is the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, then we can see that this PSLV, it carries a weight around 1750 kg, that is the 1750 kg, and we can see that it often places the satellites under the lower orbit. So obviously we can know, or we can see that this SSLV is much at a very better stage because of its low efficiency, low cheapness, as well as its quickly assembled terms, as also because it is very much of cheap. Okay, so if I have to go with the respective SSLV, so you can see in a respective picture that the SSLV has got some of the three stages. So we can see that we have got three stages in SSLV. That is the first stage, which is going with the solid motor over here. Okay, the second stage going with the composite motor, and the very third motor we can see that it is the payload fairing, which directly adapts with the conditions that is laid down under this SSLV. Okay, so SSLV is more suitable today in this time period because of its very much high approximity towards being a low cost launch vehicle. Okay, and we know that in this SSLV, it is a cost effective launch vehicle because of its high launch frequency and quick turnaround capability. And the options of multiple satellite mounting options are very much uh, eligible for this respective SSLV. And unlike the PSLV and GSLV, if we compare SSLV with these two giants, the SSLV can be assembled both vertically and both horizontally. So we can see, but we cannot see such number of assembly in the respective terms of PSLV as well as GSLV. Okay, so the SSLV is intended to cater the market of the launch of small satellites into the low Earth orbit, which has emerged in recent years, even from some of the developing countries, even from some of the private companies, okay, even from some of the universities. तो ये सबसे आया. तो इस बार क्या किया गया था? इस बार we have brought in some of the two satellites of total around 500 kg. एक था EOS-2 और दूसरा था आजादी सेट. Okay, आजादी सेट. और ये EOS-2, that is the Earth Observation Satellite 2, it's a micro satellite 2A of weighing around 145 kg, as well as this Ajadi set, it was directly been compiled by 750 students of government schools in Kerala, which is directly facilitated by the space kids. ओके, सो ये क्यों फेलियर हो गया था? सपोजली ये 9:18 AM में हम लोग का श्री हरिकोटा से ये चला था, लेकिन बाय द टाइम ऑफ 2:45 PM इन द आफ्टरनून it directly placed its particular orbit in some of the other area where actually it has to be placed. So now, therefore, we can see that because of such number of differences, what we have seen in the recent past, therefore, this SSLV mission is now in this point of time is a failure, as directly mentioned by the ISRO chairman. Okay, so slowly and slowly we are directly going with such number of ideas, even to launch some number of smaller satellites in the respective space. Okay, तो ये रहा हम लोग का एक particular aspect of SSLV. Coming to the next one, that is the SC Collegium. Okay, when I say about the Collegium system, okay, so Collegium system, after independence, India adopted the constitution by the time of 1950. Okay, and we directly see that by the time of 1973, President directly appointed the Chief Justice of India and the remaining judges of the Supreme Court in consultation with the CJI and other judges as he deemed necessary. But with certain number of time period, okay, धीरे धीरे करके ये क्या होने लगा था? There is a particular conflict between the respective judiciary as well as the executive or even the legislature. Okay, तो यहाँ पे हम लोग का 3 cases बहुत important है, which is known as the 3 judges case. Okay, पहला जज केस आया था अराउंड द टाइम बीइंग ऑफ 1982. 1982 में फर्स्ट जज केस आया था. Okay, and a petition was filed in the Supreme Court of India, which the case is at that point of time was known as SP Gupta or first judge's case. Okay, and here Supreme Court ने two major points को अपने proceedings में लिया, and when asked the Supreme Court of India whether the word consultations, which should mean concurrence with respective to the president or not, Supreme Court at that point of time directly said that consultation does not means concurrence. मतलब if today the respective Supreme Court, if it's directly gives some of the names of the judges that is to be appointed in the Supreme Court or any of the other high courts, at that point of time, President may directly nominate some of the respective candidates of his choice. तो ये चला था in this particular case when we can see that in this particular case the president was not bound to make a decision based on the consultations by the Supreme Court. तो president directly अपना कोई एक लोग भी जो उसको लगता है कि like he is very much efficient to directly go for the judge of the Supreme Court or the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. At that point of time, we can see that here the concurrence is directly not equals to consultations. Okay, तब आया second judge case around 1993. Okay, and in this very thing in 1993 another case was filed by the Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association, उसको बोलते हैं हम लोग शॉर्टकट में बोलते हैं उसको SCARA. Okay, Supreme Court's Advocates on Record Association, and in this case the Supreme Court overruled its earlier verdict and changed the meaning of consultations to concurrence. ओके तो यहाँ पे बोला गया था फर्स्ट जज केस में कि कंसल्टेशन इज इक्वल्स टू कंकरेंस. अभी क्या बोला गया है? इज नॉट इक्वल्स टू कंकरेंस, सॉरी. तो अभी यहाँ पे क्या बोला गया है कि कंसल्टेशन इज इक्वल्स टू कंकरेंस. मतलब सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया का एक जो बॉडी है जिसको जो अपॉइंट करते हैं अपने लोगों को, दैट इज वेरी मच इक्वल्स टू द कंसल्टेशन पुट फॉरवर्डेड और द कंकरेंस पुट फॉरवर्डेड बाय द प्रेसिडेंट. अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट या द बॉडी डायरेक्टली प्रेसिडेंट को अपना नाम सजेस्ट करता है तो प्रेसिडेंट मस्ट हैव टू accept the names that is submitted by the respective judiciary. Okay, तो यहाँ पे ही सेकंड जज केस में ही ये कॉलेजियम सिस्टम हम लोग का इवॉल्व हुआ है. ओके, इसके बाद आता है हम लोग का थर्ड जज केस, एंड इन दिस ईयर ऑफ 1998 द प्रेसिडेंशियल रेफरेंस टू द सुप्रीम कोर्ट वाज इशू क्वेश्चनिंग द मीनिंग ऑफ द वर्ड कंसल्टेशन. ओके, एंड चीफ जस्टिस वोंट बी ओनली वन एज अ पार्ट ऑफ द कंसल्टेशन प्रोसेस. तो यहाँ पे क्या आ गया था? यहाँ पे भी ये जो कंसल्टेशन इज इक्वल्स टू कंकरेंस है इसको अपहोल्ड कर दिया गया कि हाँ देयर शुड बी अ रेस्पेक्टिव थिंग व्हिच इज नोन एज कंसल्टेशन इक्वल्स टू कंकरेंस इन एवरी पर्टिकुलर अपॉइंटमेंट दैट इज मेड विद इन द जुडिशियरी. ठीक है, और इसी को ही अपहोल्ड किया था. हाँ, सेकंड केस में क्या था कि लाइक देयर शुड बी 3 जजेस एज वेल एज द चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया. इसमें क्या कर दिया कंसल्टेट थर्ड जजेस केस में कि देयर शुड बी 1 CJI प्लस 4 अदर जजेस इन दिस कॉलेजियम सिस्टम. तो कॉलेजियम सिस्टम हम लोग का कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में नहीं लिखा गया है, बट इट इज वेरी मच वेलली डिस्क्राइब्ड बाय द जुडिशियरी इन दिस रेस्पेक्टिव 3 जजेस केसेस. ओके, तो ये जो हम लोग का process about the collegium system. Okay, the appointment of the judges will recommend, or the judges will recommend the names of the candidates to the central government. Okay, also the central government will send the names of the proposed candidates for consultation, and the appointment process takes a long time since there is not a fixed time limit directly set for it. Okay, so if the collegium system resents the same name again in the government, has to give its accent to the respective names. ओके, तो आजकल कॉलेजियम सिस्टम बहुत ज्यादा क्रिटिसिज्म फेस कर रहा है. क्यों? बिकॉज वी कैन सी दैट बिकॉज ऑफ द लैक ऑफ ट्रांसपेरेंसी एंड अकाउंटेबिलिटी ऑफ द रेस्पेक्टिव सिस्टम, टुडे द कॉलेजियम सिस्टम इज स्लोली डायरेक्टली लूजिंग इट्स रेस्पेक्टिव कॉन्फिडेंस. तो इसीलिए we can see that government directly tried to interfere in this collegium system to bring more transparency in this respective system. इसीलिए by the time of 2014 through the 99 CAA we can see the NJAC, that is the National Judicial Appointment Commission, came into prominence. Okay, and ये NJAC क्या करेंगे? It would recommend names for the appointment of the Supreme Court judges and the appointment and transfer of the high courts, जो कि collegium system करता है. और इस एनजीएसी में कंपोजिशन क्या क्या होंगे? चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया रहेंगे, 2 सीनियर जज ऑफ द सुप्रीम कोर्ट रहेंगे, लॉ मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया रहेंगे, एंड 2 एमिनेंट मेंबर्स दैट आर चूजन बाय द सिलेक्शन कमिटी. ओके, ऑब्वियसली सम ऑफ द एमिनेंट जूरिस्ट. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो गया कि एनजेएसी को आउटराइटली सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने रिजेक्ट कर दिया. क्यों? बिकॉज हियर द इंटरफेरेंस ऑफ द एग्जीक्यूटिव एज वेल एज द लेजिस्लेचर कैन बी सीन इन द जुडिशियरी. But we know that in our country we have got an independent and integrated judiciary. तो यहाँ पे हम लोग का जो ऑर्गन्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट है कैन नॉट डायरेक्टली फॉर्म अ रेस्पेक्टिव डील विद द जुडिशियरी. तो इसीलिए इसी के तहत हम लोग का जो 2014 में एनजीएसी आया था, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उसको आउटराइटली रिजेक्ट कर दिया था बिकॉज ऑफ द इंटरफेरेंस ऑफ द एग्जीक्यूटिव एंड द लेजिस्लेचर इन द एनजीएसीज और इन द रेस्पेक्टिव कॉलेजियम सिस्टम और इन द जुडिशियरी, वेयर इवन द एग्जीक्यूटिव मेंबर, सपोजली अगर यहाँ पे मैं बोल दूं अबाउट लॉ मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया, तो लॉ मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया इज एन एग्जीक्यूटिव मेंबर ऑल्सो, ही इज अ लेजिस्लेटिव मेंबर ऑल्सो. So if he is directly terming for appointment of the judiciary, then obviously there is an interference of executive and legislature in the judiciary. So इसी के वजह से सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इसको रिजेक्ट कर दिया था, एंड आज भी ये कॉलेजियम सिस्टम चलता आ रहा है. Okay, but with time we need some of the greater transparency and various number of good accountability from even the judges of the Supreme Court as well as from the High Court. तो ये एक इशू था about the collegium system. Okay, coming to the next one. देखो about climate change. Okay. Now, when I say about or when I say something called as climate change, मैं अगर इसको सरल भाषा में, or if in layman's term I will directly go for a perfect definition of climate change, we can see that the periodic modification of the Earth's climate that brought about due to changes in the atmosphere as well as interactions between the atmosphere and the various other geological, chemical, biological and geographical factors within the Earth system is called climate change. एक बार फिर से सुन लो कि लाइक द पीरियोडिकल मॉडिफिकेशन, अगर इन विथ टाइम अगर हमारा क्लाइमेट में कुछ मॉडिफिकेशंस आए, ओके, सपोजिटली पहले बहुत गर्मी थे, अभी बहुत ठंडा होने लगा है, ठीक है, तो ठंडा हुआ है, कभी कभी फिर से बहुत गर्मी होने लगा है, तो वी कैन सी दैट द पीरियोडिक मॉडिफिकेशंस ऑफ द अर्थ क्लाइमेट दैट ब्रॉट अबाउट due to the changes in the atmosphere as well as the interactions between the atmosphere as well as various others geographical or chemical or biological or geological within the earth system is called climate change. तो we know that there are various factors associated with climate change. Natural factors भी है, ऐसा नहीं है कि खाली only anthropogenic regions are only responsible for climate change. तो यहाँ पे natural factors भी है. Supposedly we can see about the continental drift, we can see about volcanism, we can see about the changes in the Earth's orbit. Okay, तो ये सब बहुत एक factors होता है even for climate change. और अगर anthropogenic regions के बारे में बोलूं तो obviously greenhouse gases है, atmospheric aerosols. Okay, we can see in the shift in the land use pattern today. Okay, so because of all such number of things we can see about the climate change. Okay, और आजकल तो एविडेंस मिलने लगा है हम लोगों की there is a rapid type of climate change in India. Today the global temperature rise, because of the global temperature rise, today you can see आज का ही दिन देख लो, कल का ही दिन देख लो, हम लोग को कितना गर्मी का मौसम यहाँ पे मिल रहा है हम लोग को, ठीक है, just because of this climate change. Okay, we can often see the respective conditions of flood that we have in today's time. Okay, just because of the global warming, the more and more number of glaciers are directly melting. Okay, so because of such number of things, the ice sheets are very much shrinking. Okay, the oceans are becoming warmer. Okay, the glaciers are directly retreating almost everywhere around the world, including the Alps, Himalayas, Andes, Rockies, Alaska, everywhere. Okay, we can see about the decreased snow cover, sea level rise, declining Arctic sea ice. Okay, so ocean acidification. So all these type of things are very crucial in maintaining the respective number of elements of climate change. Okay, today we can see that there are various number of climate risk facility in India. Because of the climate facility, we can see there is a local resource competition. We can see livelihood insecurity and migration, extreme weather events and disasters like floods, landslides, okay, all these things, volatile food prices. तो ये सब हो रहा है, okay, just because of this climate change. We can see that the water management, because of the poor water management, the water is getting depleted. Okay, so in every particular perspective, we could see that climate change is very much relevant in today's time. Okay, or because of this climate change, we are seeing or we are experiencing various climates or some number of unusual and unprecedented spells of extreme weather conditions. So in every categories, we can see that this number of activities are directly hampering the climate change, and it is fueling the rise in some of the extreme weather events. Okay, so this is the respective category that we can see with respect to climate change. Okay, coming to the next one, that is the Idukki Dam issue. Okay, so if I have to say about the thing that is known as the Idukki Dam, okay, so Idukki Dam, today we are directly seeing that because of the constant number of floods that is happening in this respective category of Kerala, okay, the very Idukki Dam is currently in news. So with the predictions of the India Meteorological Department, that is the IMD, of fresh bout of heavy rainfall in Kerala, it directly started from the last week, and it was like we can see that for a precautionary measure, water was released directly from the Idukki Reservoir. Okay, and this Idukki Dam is a double curvature arc dam constructed across the Periyar River, and we all know that the Periyar River, which you can see in this map, is the lifeline of Kerala. Okay, and this dam was constructed along with two other dams at Cheruthoni and Kulampu. So this is a together this particular three dams and two types of dams have created an artificial lake in this respective area. So the dam was constructed to directly manage the scenario of flood, but because of the conditions or because of the high number of flooding activities today in this respective area, we have seen that the geography or the very regions area or this very areas that is directly around this respective Idukki Dam is being hugely flooded because of the failure of this respective category of dam and because of the release of water that is directly in this respective area of Kerala. Okay, so this is the small news. Okay, so mainly we know we should know about the respective Idukki reservoir. इसका location थोड़ा देख लेना, इसका आसपास का एक डैम देख लेना. Okay, मुड्डी पेयर डैम वाला जो issue है वो भी देख लेना एक बार. तो everywhere we can see that such number of things when this is currently in news, तो बाकी और डैम्स का जो कैटेगरीज है वो सब भी थोड़ा बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है. ठीक है, so this is the thing associated with Idukki Dam. Coming to the next one, that is the rock agama. Okay, so this rock agama is a particular, ये देख सकते हो तुम लोग, ये this is a particular type of lizard that we can see in various categories of or in these various regions of our country. Okay, so in this respective thing of rock agama, we can see that from various number of various other years, okay, we can see that this particular species have directly changed its particular natural habitat. Okay, ये natural habitat को change करते हैं. Where an animal chooses to sleep can be the difference between life and death in the wild. Okay, and by studying this peninsular log agamas, okay, generally near to Bangalore or near to the south areas or near to the rural areas of the south, we have found remarkable behavioral flexibilities in city agamas in response to the stressor of artificial light. Okay, this city dwellers were 9 times more likely to use covert sleep sites that limit illumination compared to lizard in rural areas. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि like this species, okay, they directly is giving us the insights of urbanizations of various number of towns or various number of areas. Okay, because in लोग का क्या है, this large animals taking color in orange and black, they do not generate their own body heat. They need to seek warmth from external sources like warm block or sunny spot on the water. They can indicate which part of the city are warming, and their numbers show how the food web is changing. They cannot live in places where there is no insects. Insects are a critical component of the health ecosystem. तो यहाँ पे क्या है कि लाइक ये हम लोग को बताते हैं कि लाइक हाउ द food ecosystem, how the habits of the respective animals, okay, how the respective how they are coping with the new city life, because today we could hardly see the rural life in and aside the main cities that we can find in our country. So in this respective category, we want to understand how the respective species are directly tackling this their respective habit of or the way of life. that they are directly one time was using. एक टाइम में ये लोग बहुत ज्यादा अर्बनाइजेशन फेज नहीं किए थे और इन लोग का एक जमीन था और इन लोग का एक रिस्पेक्टिव हैबिटेट था, but because of the overpopulation, because of the dynamics that we can see over here in this southern region or in this eastern region of India, we can see that they have directly made an insight towards the urbanization practices. Okay, आज ये लोग थोड़ा shift हो रहे हैं towards what, towards the conditions of urbanizations. Okay, so in this particular way हम लोग को ये species बहुत important हो जाता है. इसका जो environmental impact है supposedly in the IUCN, read in the IUCN list, okay, this is the least concerned animal. Okay, तो ये slowly यहाँ तक पहुंच सकता है and it can slowly becomes endangered with the changing period of life that it has directly attained. तो ये थोड़ा हम लोग का important हो जाता है. Okay, these things are not so much of relevant, but हम लोग का जो IUCN status है और ये चीज क्यों न्यूज में है, क्या recent discoveries हुआ है, okay, what is the particular food ecosystem that they are directly going with, ये सब थोड़ा बहुत हम लोग को इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है. एंड इफ इट इज डायरेक्टली सेइंग अबाउट द ईस्टर्न इंडिया, साउदर्न इंडिया, तो यहाँ का जो जितने भी हम लोग का रेस्ट्रिक्टेड साइट्स है, ओके, बी इट सम ऑफ द नेशनल पार्क्स, बी इट सम ऑफ द वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरीज, ये सब थोड़ा बहुत रिलेवेंट हो जाता है. तो उस तरह से हम लोग को यहाँ पे इस एनालाइज को थोड़ा देखना पड़ेगा. Okay, coming to the next one, that is the last editorial here today. So tapping technology to check minor plunder or minor mineral plunder. So we can see that today in this world where there is a rapid technological innovations or various number of R&Ds today are directly going on in this respective country, because even today the government is directly functioning on various number of R&D processes. Okay, so we know that India has got a higher resource with respective to its respective minerals. Okay, तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि लाइक इन इंडिया वी हैव गॉट वेरियस नंबर ऑफ चैलेंजेस इवन टू एक्सट्रैक्ट द मिनरल्स दैट वी हैव इन आवर कंट्री. ओके, अगर मैं मिनरल पोटेंशियल ऑफ इंडिया का ही देख लूं, इंडिया हैज द सेम मिनरल पोटेंशियल जस्ट लाइक साउथ अफ्रीका एंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया. It around produces 95 types of minerals, but despite its huge mineral potential, the mining sector of India still remains underexplored. मैं अगर देखने जाऊं कि माइनिंग सेक्टर हम लोग का जीडीपी में कितना कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं, अराउंड 7 to 7.5% ओनली. Okay, like South Africa and Australia, where it is like we can see that 1.75%, sorry, this 7 to 7.5% is with respect to countries like South Africa and Australia. Okay, South Africa and Australia directly जो इनका जो माइनिंग सेक्टर है, ये माइनिंग सेक्टर डायरेक्टली 7 to 7.5% ये लोग क्या करते हैं, कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं. But today, if you see, with respective to countries like India, only 1.7% of the GDP is contributed towards the GDP of our respective country. Okay, India is obviously today is importing more and more number of minerals worth lakhs and crores of rupees just because of this underexplored mining areas of India. Okay, India has only explored some of the 10 of its obvious geological potential. And amongst this, अगर मैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया साउथ अफ्रीका का देखूं तो 70-80% उन लोगों ने अपना जमीन देख लिया है, खोद लिया है. But we have not even directly accessed some of the 80 to 90% of our area. Okay, so therefore we have seen that though we have got various challenges associated with this mining, be it the environmental concern, be it the tribal communities that live in these respective areas, okay, be it the intervention of the central government in state matters, okay, तो ये सब जो conditions है, इसको हम लोग को उभर के आना चाहिए through technology. Okay, if we directly encourage some of the reforms in the mining sector, okay, and the boom in the mining sector will lead to a boost in a lot of metal and ancillary industries as well. So here we have to directly contribute more and more to various number of artificial intelligence, technological warfare. ये सब करना पड़ेगा. And introducing an independent regulatory authority is a must in this respective category. Also, by doing so, we have to maintain or handle the environmental concerns associated with mining. क्योंकि अगर हम लोग को माइनिंग करना है तो environmental impact होगा ही होगा. So here we have to properly go with an analysis of environmental impact assessment, seismic studies, taking the biodiversity into account. Okay, so ये सब हम लोग को करना पड़ेगा. And to promote various number of exports and employments in this respective sector, the conditions with respective to mining is very important. Okay, today we know that the entry at serial number 23 under list 2 of state list to the Constitution of India mandates the state government to own the minerals located within their boundaries. But we can see that in today's time, These particular things are very much associated with the ownership of all offshore minerals, and because of this particular area, we need to invest more and more number of interest R&D in this respective sector, and through various number of tapping technology, we can directly maintain the minerals plunder that is doing in various number of illegal activities today in our country. So this is a very basic idea of tapping, how this particular technology tapping could directly check the mineral plunder in our respective country. Okay, so this was all about today's analysis. Okay, so we will just attempt these respective questions. The answers of this will be given to you in the Telegram channel. Okay, so one main question associated with this. Okay, so this is all for today's news analysis. We'll all meet again tomorrow with the same with the same type of contents, with the same type of analysis. Okay, till then, goodbye, Jai Hind.